All right, good morning, everybody. This is the ACAP mid-month forum update for September. I'm pleased to have everybody here. Seems like there's a lot of people coming on. It's like we got pretty good attendance, so that makes us happy. It shows us that you're still interested in this program. So before I get started, I want to ask Doug Wolfgang if he wants to say a few words, and then we'll start the presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eric, and thank you so much for everybody being here today. Really appreciate your efforts. Nothing much to say other than just a thank you for all of that you've done across the state to get us to this point. It has been truly a Herculean effort. When we think about this program just being signed into law literally a bit over a year ago, 14 months ago, to be in a position where we have 137.2 million in funds that have been committed, and we have 83.3 million that has been received by districts for 664 applications across the state. So really, all the work that went into getting us to this point in such a short amount of time is such a great story to be told. It's very exciting for us, and as we look to the future and we try to make the case for a dedicated fund for ACAP, all the work that you've done to get us to this point is really what's going to be the driver for those decisions that are made at a higher level by the General Assembly and by those who have the ability to give us a dedicated fund. And this work is so meaningful and so important from a water quality, a farm viability perspective. So it really is a good effort and partnership with you all. I just wanted to thank you again, and I want to thank Justin and Eric from my staff, and Amy and the regional staff. Everyone at the commission has just really stepped up to the plate and made this program successful with its rollout. So with that, I just want to turn it back over to Eric, but just if there's anything we can do to help you with rolling out ACAP and continuing the momentum, just let us know. We're here to help. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Doug. All right, so just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to cover today, we're going to go do a program update. So we'll go through the delegation agreements, just a brief overview of that, the county program updates, and the PACD planner contract. Also going to get into GIS reporting, both our financial tool that we're going to have and Practice Keeper. We got Kate Breesaw with us here today. She's going to give us an overview of Practice Keeper and maybe show a live demonstration of how to put an ag BMP into the Practice Keeper. Also, we got an upcoming admin training. That's November 16th. We'll get into that as well. And along with that, the Penn State Center update, and then we'll have some open question and answers. And if you do have a question or anything throughout the presentation, just put it in the chat box or raise a hand. If we see the hand, we'll call upon you, and we can answer questions as we go. So a little bit of a overview of the delegation agreement. We do have all 66 counties signed agreements with that. There is actually one going through the legal and comptroller approvals as we speak. So we're hoping to have everything signed and fully executed by probably October here is what we're expecting. With those advanced payments, we have 2 rounds sent out to 65 districts, totaling roughly $46.4 million. And we're still also working with Philadelphia Parks and Rec, and as well as NRCS, some projects in the city of Philadelphia and in the county of Philadelphia. So just a brief overview of what we're doing and how everything is going. We're really happy with the process and the progress that everybody's making, and I applaud everyone for all the hard work that you've been doing. Just to hit on this again, everybody knows, everybody's heard this before. We had to have everything processed by the districts 24-25. We had to have that processed by July 2024. So all those funds had to be encumbered by December 31st of 2024, and the funds have to be spent by 2026. So we'll be reviewing as we go. Make sure everybody's spending the money. Everybody's doing a good job. We're getting good feedback from the districts. A lot of them's fully allocated some of their allocations already. So we don't know if there's going to be any extra money sitting in any county as we speak. But if that happens, we'll be working through that by next year, trying to figure things out. So that gives you a little bit of a delegation update. So we asked all districts, and I appreciate all districts responding back to us, give us an update of what's going on in the counties. Just to give you a brief overview of the whole statewide, this is all 67 counties. So applications received is 666, totaling $883.6 million funds requested. Now, of those 366 applications received, 366 of them have been approved. 40.1 million has been committed, and project contracts is about 217. We do have 92 projects going on at this time, and 21 projects actually have been complete, totaling $1.8 million going out to the farmers. So as you can see, statewide, we're really doing a really good job. And like again, I thank all of you for your hard work and dedication to this program and to make it successful. The PACD contract, just to give you an update where we are with that. PACD is fully executed and it's sent over to PACD. So that contract starts at 7/1/23 and it ends 6/30/2025. The contract is provide funds to support 6 conservation planners and nutrient management specialists. That is to help the districts or help other various government agencies. That provides assistance to area partnership personnel and NRCS and writing conservation plans and nutrient management plans. And I don't know, is Brenda on today? Maybe she can give a little bit of an update.
Eric, I think Brenda's en route to where I am in Greensburg for the PACD meeting.
Okay. Brenda did give us an update the other day. She said that they are about ready to send out the paperwork to hire these 6 engineers. So they should be coming on this late fall to early winter here is what they're hoping for. So that support will be available to conservation districts, NRCS, and whoever else may need some technical assistance, such as landowners or whatever it may be. So, all right. So our next category is ACAP GIS reporting. So SCC quarterly reporting, we do have to do that. We require you, if you take your delegation agreement, to report quarterly. SCC and partners are currently working on developing the quarterly reporting system. Right now we're in test mode, very early stages of test mode. The contract and financial reporting will be done through our ACAP GIS system. So that server is set up. I just got access to it here Monday, starting to play around with it a little bit. So we're going to start testing before the end of this month. Our plan is to have some of our regional staff come into districts and enter in the 2022 information that districts have, just to get us familiar with some of that information first. We might ask some of the districts to help out on that, but we want to do some test stuff beforehand before we allow the districts to go through with their testing and enter in data. Our hope is with this, we'll enter the data in, and then we can get a good start on 2022 and start reporting, getting quarterly reports done and stuff like that. That way our regional staff has a good understanding of the program. That way we can help out districts if there's any questions with that. And again, we want to start this by the end of the month. And hopefully by the beginning of next month, we'll be able to allow some of the districts to start entering that stuff in. So there will be bumps and bugs with this. So I do caution you. If something comes up, please reach out to us. Let us know what's going on. But like I said, we want to try to work out most of those bugs before we let it release it to the districts to do. So project BMP entry and reporting, that will be reported in PK, and Kate will give us a little bit more information on that a little bit later. So those ACAP changes have been made in Practice Keeper, and districts can enter those BMPs into the program. Actually, they can do that now. Many of you might not be aware of that, but it is available, and Kate will give us a little bit more information on that and give us a little bit of demonstration how to put those BMPs in. So my next step was to give you a live demonstration of the GIS. So I'm going to stop sharing my slides right now. And I will tell you to bear with me because this GIS was acting very, very slow today. So I might have to hand it off to somebody else. So can everybody see my screen?
Yeah,
Looks good, Eric.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So this might look familiar to some of your district managers. Basically, we use the same platform as Dirt and Gravel Road. We tried to make it as simple as possible and ease over into our system. So for district managers and the financial end of it, so we want to enter a contract in. I'm just going to walk you through how to enter a contract in. And again, bear with me because I'm very new to this, and there's still some bugs to work out, and my GIS is working very, very slowly today. So we're going to click on this tab up here. It says View All Contracts. So we have to hit this plus button. And as you can see, I have no contracts in there right now. So I'm going to ask to enter into contract. So I'm just going to put in names and stuff like that. Contract amount. The owner. Now, if there's an operator, we can put a different operator name in there. This advancement amount, as part of the ACAP program, you do have the option of advancing money to the landowner or operator, and that you can advance up to 25 or up to 50%. And this will actually keep track of that for you. So it shows your advancement of 62,500, and you can your withhold amount is how much you have to hold back. That will be your 30% of the contract that you have to hold back. So in essence, it looks like you can probably advance another 25% before you hit that 70%. So
Yeah,
you don't have to
just
yeah, go ahead.
Elaborate on that a bit more. It's just like a dirt and gravel road contract, so you can advance up to 50%. You can spend another 20% as expenses are coming in and they're justifying that they need the money, right? So you could send them up to 70% total before the contract's closed, but you have to hold that 30% until the entire project is done, right? So if there's 5 practices in a contract, you got to make sure all 5 of those are done, certified, done to the standards, and then you can, once they're signed off, then you can pay that last 30%. But again, that's voluntary. The district can choose to advance or not advance. That's not mandatory. That's just an option districts are allowed to do. So that could be a local policy on how you advance funds.
Thanks, Justin. So in essence, we're building out the contract here. So in general contract information, of course, we're going to have a proposed completion date. It's usually 2 years after the date of the signature on the contract. So we can go to 2024 or 2025. So say we want to put September 24, 2025. And commencement date is when we plan on possibly starting this. So we'll just say tomorrow. And this start notice here, this is notifications for when the contract is going to be complete. If you want to get notifications sent to you, say 60 days prior to the completion date, the system will actually send you notices, say, hey, you got 60 days. Where's the project at? We need to be finishing up everything with the project. So, I mean, if you want to put 180 days, that's fine too. That's whatever. That's a nice little added bonus there that gives you notifications that's saying, hey, your contract's about up. We need to move on and get this contract complete. Related plans, we do ask that the plans, whether it's a manure management plan, nutrient management plan, ag E&S plan, or conservation plan, we need the related plan. So we can just type in manure management plan. That's what they have. And the conservation district, the signer, whether it's a chairman, district manager, whoever has the signing ability at the district level, this is where this comes in. So just say district manager. Oh, I'll just put name down. District manager. And so we'll have to save all that before we move on. So we'll just go ahead and save that. If there's any project narratives that we want, say if we want to put in, this is a heavy use area, waste storage facility, we can do that in there.
Hey, Eric, interrupting real quick. So if there's information like background on the farm that may be relevant or interesting and they want to report that, would that be the appropriate section to put the narrative on the farm? Like if we want to sort of capture stories about how the farming operations were overall improved by the practices, would that be the appropriate place to put that information?
Yeah, I think that would be one place. Mike, is there another place that might be better for that? Mike Anderson? And Mike.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I was just wondering if that was the appropriate place, and if not, you know, we can certainly direct counties on where to enter that information. But we want to capture photos of before and after, and as many stories or narratives about the actual farming operations as we can, just so as we make the case for a dedicated fund, we'll have that information to be able to reference. I think it'd just be good practice going forward.
Yep. Yeah,
Thanks, Eric.
And that is all built into the system. Like I said, I'm just getting familiar with it right now. We do have a photos tab there for that, Doug, that we can add photos to that. And I think that's where some of the narratives come in, that you can put some narratives on that as well. But yeah, that's there. And we also have a tab where we can attach files. Say you went out and got whatever file, maybe say you got some receipts and you want to put the receipts into the system, you can put that right into the files there and save it that way. So there's a bunch of stuff that's really good with this program. I think it'll be helpful for the districts, and I think it'll be a big hit once we get it up and running. And so
perfect. Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Eric, there's a couple questions in the chat. Let's get caught up if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first question was, will PACD positions be located regionally? Yes, they will. The last time I talked to Brenda, I think they were going to house them at the same spot as the TAG employees, which I think is NRCS regional offices. So that's what they'll be. The next question is PACD planner contract separate from or the same as the ACAP engineers? This is a separate contract. The engineer contract is still in development. We don't have a time yet. We're hoping as soon as possible to get those engineers in place, but no, there is no time at this moment. The planner contract, they're going to be dedicated to writing conservation plans, ag E&S plans, that type of thing, getting the necessary plans in place so that we can have ACAP projects, because those plans are necessary for ACAP. So that's the point of those. Can you provide a link for this? I assume you mean the GIS. Yes, we'll get a link out to you once it's ready. I think Eric will touch on this, but we need to obviously test this with a couple districts before we make it live to the whole state. We're still working on a rollout procedure. We don't know if I don't know that I'm ready to just open it up to the whole state without training everybody specifically. But we'll come up with a good rollout procedure here soon to get this going. Is the ability to advance funds something we would have in our delegation, or something we can choose to do now? That's a local policy. You can choose to say how you want to pay out your contract. Just make sure to cover it in your local policy if you choose to do so. You want to make sure it's equitable to everybody how you plan to do those payouts. Is a contract number your number, and will it be populated? Yes, I believe we're doing a set number. It's going to be similar to how Dirt and Gravel Roads does it. It'll have a date, county ID in there, probably landowner info. But Mike was working on that last time I talked to him on an automatic generated number. When will this site be open to districts to use, and when will first reporting deadline be? We're not going to set a deadline for this first quarter. We're going to obviously open it up to everyone. We'll work with everyone. I don't want a deadline. Everybody has to rush around and get the information in. So again, we're still working on formal rollout of this. So again, bear with us. The system is new, and it's going to take some time and some kinks to get it worked out, but we will definitely be in touch. And Jill noted, thanks Jill, that in Practice Keeper photos completion as built can be attached in Practice Keeper as well. So thanks, Jill. All right, Eric, I think we're caught up.
All right, so we got to attach a work site to the contract. You can do this 2 different ways. We can create one. See if I do this right. Yep, it's not going to work for me. Let's see. So basically, you can do it 2 different ways. This first button here is you can create a work site. Let's see. Oh, got it. Enter the name of the work site.
Eric, I think the work site is when is part of the BMP stuff that's not running yet. Okay, it is. It is running. It is. Okay, never mind.
It is. Yeah, it is running. So you can do it a couple different ways. As you can see, I'm just drawing one here like this. You can double click it. Or if you want to just click a parcel, it should work that way as well. And you can click a parcel, and that can be your work site. I'm not going to save any of this stuff, but I just wanted to show you how we can do that. So you can either draw it if you got a certain area that you're working on. So you just want to put in a diversion or whatever it may be. You can just draw it, your work site, in where the diversion is going to be. Or you can just put click on the parcel, and that'll do it. So some of this might look familiar. It came from dirt. A lot of it came from Dirt and Gravel Road. As you can see, some of it's already pre-filled out. We got the contract amount. If there's any amendments, that'll come in there in the amendments tab. This is sort of a pre-construction report. If we know any of these, we'll just come over to landowner contributions. So if the landowner has some materials that he knows that he's going to need or anything like that he's going to provide, that can come in there as landowner contributions. Say he's going to buy $25,000 of stone just for his cost share. That can go in there. But probably the main thing that you guys are going to use is landowner contributions from other sources, like new organizations. This could be, say, ACAP. Type that in there. Add that, and you can say it's 55,000. And this will add up everything throughout the whole project. So it's a good way to just enter the information in. This will actually spit out a contract at the end of everything. So it takes a lot of the work, a lot of handwriting out of the equation for you guys. But like I said, this is just all pre stuff. The most important stuff that we do is in the completion report. So, but we try to get a good idea of what the projects are going to be up front. That'll give us a good aspect and a good view at the commission wise to show what projects are out there, what funding is being piggybacked or worked on projects and things like that. So it gives us a good oversight pre-construction and pre-project. And it gives the districts a good overview as well. Use a new payment button above the new payment. I haven't got this far, so I'm sort of sitting in the dark. Justin, would you be able to go through some of this?
Yeah, Eric, it's just a spot to add payments on a con. So like if you advance money, you can add a payment in there. Green, that green one should be, yep. So then you can just add some information on, how much you paid, what the date was, and essentially helps us keep track of how much money was given to the farmer.
Yeah, and the check and the Ken did. I mean, Mike did go over this with me. So when you're in this trying to do payments, it won't let you go past the previous date. So right now the date's September 20th. That's the only date you can put it on, and you can only go back so far, I believe.
Donna, I see your question about spitting out a contract. No, it will not automatically print a contract yet. So you're going to have to do your own contracts. Yep. Eventually we want to get there, but for now, no, it won't do that. Okay, yeah, Eric, that's essentially just a payment tab to keep track of how much you're paying.
Yep.
Again, very similar to the dirt and gravel system.
And
I'm gonna have to save it before you can move on.
Yeah, I think we had some issues with this yesterday when Mike and I went over this. This should automatically take the payments into consideration. It should give you the save payments. Let me see if I'll just save it.
Save with the button, like under where it says pre-construction report. Hit that save button.
Pre-construction.
No, we'll go back to payments.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I took it away.
Yep. Whatever. We'll just put some more information in there.
Yeah, and then just hit that save button, a little blue button right above where it says current payment after you get the information there.
This one.
Yeah.
Did save it. Mike, you said it was working for you yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, when I tried it again, it did keep track.
Okay. It just might be on my end. Like I said, my GIS was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's supposed to automatically calculate what you've already made payments on, and it'll tell you the remaining balance. And if there's any amendments, it'll calculate that in there as well. So basically, this program, you just get in here, you work left to right, fill out as much information as possible, and it should keep track of everything for you. So this is amendments. If you'd have an amendment sometime, the date it was amended. So we want to amend it today. This could be amendment 1. You could amend it a couple times. Amendment could be a amount of money. Say you have some overruns, and you can go up to 20%. We'll just say $10,000 overrun. Or you can actually have a completion date. That's probably what we'll run into the most. We run into some whatever issue it may be with the project. You need to adjust the completion date. It's pretty easy to do. Say we need to move it 2026. This is where you would do that. And right here, it keeps track of your amendment totals. The original amount was 125,000. The new project cost is 135,000. So you ask for an 8% increase, 8% amendment to the contract. And that'll keep track of, let's just put in a different amount here. Say we want to put an amendment in for 100,000. So now it shows up red, we're at 80%. So we got an issue there we got to take care of. So it'll notify you when you have problems, which is very nice. So I think that's all we got to go there. Save amendment changes, click OK. All right, this is where you add photos. Mike, you want to give a little bit of brief information how you would go about that?
Yeah, the photos isn't really done yet, and I'm not
Okay.
seeing your screen updating, so I can't remember it. Whatever it looks like now, it's just preliminary. I'm trying to figure out in dirt and gravel, you can just upload photos and do comments. There's no real before and after, so I'm trying to build in, so everything's explicitly before and after. But basically, you'll just browse to where a photo is, type in a little bit of information about the photo, hit save, and it'll upload it. And then you'll be able to, as you put ones in, you'll be able to pick one. You'll be able to pick what is the before, so you can associate 2 photos as before and after. And it'll be working sometime next week, probably.
Okay.
It basically works like the files. It's just a different type of file. So I'll get both those working at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
Eric,
go ahead.
real quick, we're hoping to use this as another spot where Doug referenced earlier about putting in some information about the project. A good before photo, a good after photo, and then I think Mike was working on having this print out as a PDF that looks similar, so it makes a nice little overview of the project with a little narrative about it. So yeah, stay tuned. It's still being developed.
Great, but for the users, for the district users, this application has a very familiar feel. It's based off of the dirt and gravel roads application, right? So I mean, it's very consistent with how that is structured, that application. And I think for us, the really important part here is financial tracking and creating reports that we need to on our end, and hopefully it's really beneficial for you all as well. I'm really liking what I see with how it's developed here.
Yeah, now that I can see, I can see the photo tab. Yeah, it's not going to look at all like that. I was just trying to think through how it's going to work. And I guess the way I came up with is you can, for every photo you upload, you can say what's before you know, so really you could have more than just before and after. You could have like a series of 3 or 4, you know, if you wanted to. But yeah, it won't look like what it looks like right there.
Okay. All right, thanks, Mike. And the final tab that I'm going to show you is a completion report. This is where we track all the information. Like I said, try to fill in as much information as you can. We understand that some of these aren't going to be filled in, but fill in as much as you can to give us a good overall overview of the project and the project cost summary. So this is where if you got project BMP totals, it'll bring all that in. We can add practices. As you can see, access control, access road, cover crops, whatever it may be. So we'll just click on one of these to add description. Maybe we'll just put single species. Acres. Say we plan for 85 and we installed, say, 82. But here's another place you can add additional project notes and a conservation district representative, whoever checked it or whatever, whoever it may be. So. And Mike, this is about all the further I got with this. Is the inspection, it's not quite ready yet, and the files tab is not quite ready yet.
That's right. Yeah, that's why they're grayed out. I haven't really even started on them yet.
Okay. So that's just a brief overview of the GIS and what is coming down the road. I'm sure many of you will have questions down the road. Like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to work with you. Contact me, and I can get a hold of Mike Anderson or our regional staff. Feel free to reach out to them as well. So just want to give you a brief overview of that. So that's where we're at with that. Again, we're going to start testing here basically right now. We're going to start testing this, entering information in. Our plan is to myself, and our regional staff is going to start entering some 2022 data in for a few districts. And then we'll go from there, try to work out all the bugs. We'll get most of them worked out. We'll probably open this up to conservation districts and hopefully start reporting maybe October, November is what we're hoping for. So, but we'll see where we're at, see how everything goes from there. Justin, is there any questions we need to catch up on before we move on?
Yeah, there's a whole slew of them. I'll do my best here to catch up. Let's see. We do not request the quoted based materials, labor, and equipment when we are paying on the contract on the cost of a BMP. Should we be looking at the amount of match the landowner provided by the BMP? So yeah, for our financial tracking purposes, we have it broken out into material, equipment, and labor. I understand most of these will be completed by a third-party contractor, and you're likely not to get that detailed information from a third party. We just ask you to do your best to estimate in there upfront what you think the cost will be for those, just so we can get an idea. Generally, it's you can take a rough guess, and again, it doesn't have to be dead on accurate. It's not like we're reporting dead numbers of here's how much we spent on materials, equipment, labor. It's just an estimate up front. And then the important part is if the landowner's doing it by himself and it's not a contract, then those are the things you're eligible to pay: material, equipment, and labor, right? So materials are, we'll go over this in admin training, but fence posts, wire, concrete, stone. That kind of stuff would go into materials. As you're getting invoices, you can keep track of what's material. Equipment time, if they're using their own backhoe, they can be reimbursed for some equipment time. Pretty much up to the FEMA rate for that if you want to reimburse them for their own equipment time. And labor, farmer supplied labor is becoming a hot topic here lately. I know some districts out there have set a policy on what they'll reimburse farmer labor rates. It'd be a good idea if a farmer is supplying his own labor to your project, you come up with a policy on how much you would reimburse for that. We are looking at it statewide here to come up with a policy on how to handle that. So that's a new thing for us that we should definitely be looking into and how to handle that. But yeah, so yeah, we do ask you also to look into the amount of match provided by the landowner, because we want to get an idea of the total cost. When we report to the legislature, it's nice to say, ACAP money was $100,000. EQIP put in 50,000. The farmer put in 20,000. That way we can say our $100,000 got 170 total project value to get this project in the ground. Hopefully that answers your question, Tom. Assuming districts will need to provide 1099s to producers, yes. Is there anything built into the site that would generate their 1099s? Oh, Tracy, that's a great point. We did not look into that, but might be something we could look into. I don't know, Mike, if that's something we could add, or we can discuss adding that in there.
Yeah, as long as you can tell me what's needed.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with those 1099s at all, so it's something I should learn more about as well. And Eric, maybe you can help assist on getting those generated.
Yeah,
it's a great idea.
I know there's a few different 1099s, so we might want to put a couple different ones in. Depends on what districts want to, which one they want to use, which one they send out.
Okay. Yeah, great idea, Tracy. Hannah, will this training be recorded and sent to us to reference later? Yes. And we'll also put it on our SCC website. And I think the Penn State, Eric, are these going up on the Penn State website?
Yeah, we usually put it up on our website, and I think our website and Penn State's website sort of talk back and forth. So if it's one place, it should be the other, but I'll double check on that.
Right. They end up on YouTube, right? Isn't that where they're saved?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Erica, are we going to have to put in photos here and in Practice Keeper? You are not required to put photos in here. So I don't know, Kate, do you require photos in Practice Keeper?
It's not required. It's really up to the program. If you're gonna ask them to put it wherever you feel like it's appropriate to be and if you're going to require them at all. I know that a lot of districts likes to attach photos or red line designs or whatever to Practice Keeper, so that so that they can have that design easily accessible when they're looking for it, 5-10 years down the line. And from personal experience, I feel like the paper copies kind of get up and walk away, and sometimes it's really nice to be able to track it down.
Yeah, thanks, Kate. Obviously we can pull pictures out of Practice Keeper too. So if you put them in Practice Keeper, that's great. We can get them out of there. If you want to put them in our system, that's great. We can take them too. So yeah, we are not requiring you to put pictures in here yet. It's nice to have pictures. So either way, if we have good before and after pictures, we can help tell the story of what's going on out there. And the last two questions look like they're geared towards some Practice Keeper versus this GIS, what goes in what, double reporting requirements. We did our best here to eliminate as much double reporting as we absolutely could. We need to track the finances. We need to track contracts. That's what this system is geared towards. We are doing our best to eliminate double reporting. If there is a lot that we didn't catch, let us know so that we can help steer that where it needs to go and get rid of double reporting. So I appreciate those comments. We do understand you don't want to double report. We don't want you to have to double report, but we need to track the information we need. We need Practice Keeper to get the information they need. So that's why we went this route. Thanks.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks for catching us up, Justin. With that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Kate. She's going to go through the ACAP Practice Keeper BMP reporting. And Kate, I guess I'll just run the PowerPoint, and you can tell me whenever you want me to move to the next slide.
Sure. So as Eric already mentioned, and thank you, Eric, for that introduction, there have been updates to the conservation planning module, the nutrient management planning module, the BMP instance module, and all of the partner submission modules, which I believe only is going to affect one county, to include the ACAP funding source. So all funding, ACAP funded projects can be reported in Practice Keeper currently with that funding source on the funding tab of each one of those. And here later in the, I'll walk you through kind of how to do that. And I think that's next in line here, actually, is where we have it lined up. So go ahead. Yeah, that's right. So I will go ahead and share my screen, and then I'll give you a little demonstration on how to report these BMPs and these plans. And I know that Eric is you're asking them to report the plans that these BMPs are attached to, correct? Is that accurate?
We're recommending that. Definitely the BMPs have to be in there. It's a good practice to put the plans in there as well. So
okay. Let me know when you see this coming through.
We can see it.
All right. So I like Eric mentioned, it's really best practice to include the plans, especially because the program requires that these BMPs be within the plan. And then of course, more broadly speaking, it can demonstrate that the nutrient reductions, you're getting credit for the BMP that ACAP is paying for, but then you are able to track all of those BMPs that are within the plan, regardless of whether it was paid for by the program or not. And then that would be submitted for Chesapeake Bay Progress if you happen to be within the Bay as well. But for this case, I just pulled up a conservation plan. As you can see here, we have some related BMPs already, but I was just going to walk you through how to add a related BMP to a plan and demonstrate how you can add the funding source to it. So here I am down here at related BMPs. I'm going to add a new one, and then I'm just going to select a practice type. So what I did there was just started typing, and so it'll send you right back down to waste storage facility is what I was going to add. I'm going to create that. It's going to pull you right into where the plan is, and we're going to pretend that this particular BMP is going to be right here. I'm going to draw a little circle. Select the land unit, and then hit save. So that is now geolocated, and we're able to pull some information from it, like the address, the county, the municipality, the HUC, and the watershed. So here I'm going to go back and add some attributes to it. So back to the BMP, all of that here transferred. And in this case, we can keep the status as planned. Once it is implemented, you're going to want to come in here and add an implementation date and implementation amount, and then that's going to automatically update that status. But for right now, I'm just going to say, come down here and add a planned on date. So when do we anticipate this to be done? Maybe it's going to be done next spring. And then you can come through here, and it's really nice that you can kind of track your progress and see your implementation progress. So when was the I&E done? When was it surveyed? When was the design approved? And then ultimately, of course, when was it implemented on? This is great for project tracking at the project level, so and even program tracking kind of at the district level, so that you can kind of see how many BMPs you have in queue and where they are in queue. You can pull some reports on that. And then I'm just going to hit save. And then we already mapped it, so we can skip over that. If it's in the conservation plan, then we'll want to add some details here. The farm number, if we know it, practice narrative, if it is part of a plan and you're adding it to a plan, though not required. Nothing on this should be required unless you're writing the plan within the system. But this field will get pulled into the conservation plan report if you're in the process of writing that plan for the farmer, and then pulled on the report that the farmer would get. So I'm going to cancel out of that. And then I'm going to jump down here to plans. And you can see that it's already been added to this particular conservation plan because I added it when it was from the plan itself. And then participants. I'm going to go ahead and you're going to want to add a participant. There I am. And then I'm going to select type. So you're going to have different participants to choose from. So is this going to be a planner? Is this going to be the person that did the QA/QC? That's the implementer. Is it going to be a designer? Design reviewer, design approver. Responsible party is really just for PCSM BMPs. So I don't see a lot of responsible party being selected as a participant for ACAP BMPs, and reporter as well. But if you're going to look here at these top 5, should largely be recorded here attached to an ACAP BMP. I'm just going to put myself down as, I don't know, the planner at this point, and hit and I'm not going to be primary, and hit save. And then here's your measures tab. So this is still planned. So we currently have one manure storage automatically created, because that's typically how we're reporting manure storage is in quantity. So just one there. If you are writing this as part of a plan, then you want to come in here. Unit of measure. It's obviously going to be quantity. Computed amount, planned amount. This is again that's going to get translated onto the plan when you're writing the plan. So hit save. And then our funding sources. This is what's critical and kind of the critical change for the ACAP program. We have a new funding source that we added to the program here. So we can just, as long as it's an ACAP BMP, come down here and hit ACAP. We don't have any funding subtypes, so don't worry about that. You can plug in amount if you want, but again, you have that whole financial tracking system on the other side. So this would be kind of for your purposes. If you're at the district level, would like to track that amount, that's fine. From what I understand, the SEC is not going to be looking at this for this amount number, and then the date funded if that would be valuable for you at the program level or at the district level. Let us know, or you can go ahead and put that in there. And then this is Eric. Is this something that you want them to track so that you have an idea of what year was funded here, or do you want that just tracked on the financial tracking system?
I mean, as long as it's tracked somewhere, that's all it really matters. You can do one or the other.
Okay. But what is critical right here, and it's got a red star next to it, make sure that you add the ACAP funding source. So you have two options here, save and then save next. So if you just have ACAP that's supporting this project, just hit save. But if you have another funding source that's attached to this, so say it is EQIP, you can add that too. Oops. And then hit save and next. And maybe there's a third one. I don't know. Maybe it's let's just say maybe there's some CAP funds that were thrown to the project too. And so then you can see here that this was the effort here to get this project on the ground was supported by 3 separate programs, and you can query based on each of those programs and kind of sort the data based on the funding sources as well. And I'm just going to jump down here to the attachments tab. So this is where we were saying that you could add photos or PDFs, or there's a bunch of different file types that you can add to this. Just to demonstrate here, pull this up, switch this over. A second. It's been a minute since I navigated adding a correct. I had it open for you, and I was just going to drag and drop, but I didn't realize it was going to open this up and make me walk through it. So just a second while I bear through finding what I was going to add. All right, there we go. So I've got my manure injection BMP. I just had a picture of that. So and imagine it had something to do with a manure storage. And you can add some tags here. So you can say that this is a photo or a file description. And then start all, it hops up, and then you can click on it. And then it downloads it for you. So that's how you're able to access it then. And I do want to add here that once it is implemented, I'll show you where you're going to add that. So general tab, you're going to hit edit. So say you had all of these dates in here, your INE, your say you had your INE, your surveyed on, whatever. You want to do your implemented on date and say that was actually implemented sometime here on the 26th rather than the 23rd. And then your implemented amount pops up, and you're going to want to hit 1 so that we have our critical components for reporting, and hit save. And then as you can see, that status has changed to implemented. All right, that's pretty much all I was going to show for a demo. Is there any questions on that?
Kate, there's some questions in the chat.
Okay. I mean, let me stop sharing so I can. Okay.
I'll read them for you, Kate. So the question is, do we only add the funded BMPs or all BMPs in the plan regardless of being funding?
If you're adding the plan, please add please add this is a program decision, but this is my recommendation. You need to be adding everything that's in the plan so that the plan is accurate. And that's how you're going to be able to really kind of track and really capture all of the nutrient reductions that are happening with it due to the on that the entirety of the nutrient reductions that are happening on that farm due to what
Yeah,
was written in that plan.
I'll add to that a little bit. It'd be good practice to have everything that's in the plan on there, because you can have it either implemented or you can have it proposed. So, I mean, it's all on there. So it'd be an easy way for you to track what BMPs need to be implemented on the farm still. So it'd be good tracking for districts to do that.
Okay, next question. If a project requires both a manure management plan and conservation plan with the BMP contained in both plans, should they report the BMP twice, once in each plan?
So the BMP should only be entered once, but let me hop over here, and I'm just going to go over to a nutrient management plan for. So you would, once you draw that and I'm not going to be able to it's just gonna, I'm not going to be able to zoom into that and draw a new plan. But once you draw the plans, there's on the related BMPs tab. Let me actually hop back to where we were. There is a spatially related BMPs table at the bottom. And so you add the manure management plan after you've gone through the process that we just did. So you add the manure management plan, draw it, and then at the bottom on the related BMPs tab, there is a spatially related BMPs table. And then you're going to come up there and that BMP should already appear in that spatially related BMPs table, as long as you drew your land units of the manure management plan appropriately. And you're just going to hit the plus button. It's not going to duplicate the BMP for in overall counting, but it is going to relate that BMP to both the manure management plan and the Ag E&S plan, so that you have that relationship established. I'm sorry, I'm just spinning here for some reason, but. So are there further questions about that? You're not entering the BMP twice. You're just relating it to two separate plans.
Okay, last question. Mercer County has approved multiple applications for cover cropping. Will each individual field need to be mapped in Practice Keeper?
So the way that we do this for the CAP program is that you can do like contiguous pieces, and then you identify the number of acres that are covered of that contiguous. So wherever there might be cover crop, and then you would identify the number of acres that are implemented in a given year.
Okay, yeah, that's the end of questions. Thanks, Kate.
Mm-hmm. And once I quit sharing, I think it unclogged a little bit here, so I can share on the related BMPs tab. Again, where that spatially related BMPs table is here. So this is where that would appear. So say we added this manure storage, you can see it's related now. If we added that manure storage to a manure management plan, we drew the land units of the manure management plan, it would appear here, and there would be a little plus button right here, and we just hit plus, and then it would add it to this table up here. So we're not completely adding a new BMP, we're just relating it to the plan. All right. Cool. Then I have some kind of just admin stuff here, if you want to bring up the PowerPoint again. So if you need a license, if you don't have access to Practice Keeper yet, your contact for that is going to be your PK admin, and each conservation district should have a practice keeper admin to assign licenses specifically for their district. If you need more licenses in your district, you can contact me and we can work through that. Just understand that each individual should have that has a license should be doing required Commonwealth program reporting, and or providing kind of program oversight. So I just have a list here of the programs that are currently reporting in Practice Keeper. 102, the Aggie and S folks are sorry, the erosion sediment control folks are coming. They're currently not requiring it. But the top section there is the programs that are reporting, and then those last two, if you're doing if you're the pre-K admin, obviously you need a license, or if you're the district manager providing program oversight there is reason for you to be able to pull data out of Practice Keeper. So obviously you need a license. But so if you need more licenses at your district, just let me know and we can work through that in order to do this ACAP reporting. But just know that we are going to be asking you to make sure that you have the folks that do have licenses are using it regularly to enter the data that is required by the programs. All right, next one. And I know that we sent it with the meeting notice, but I just did want to remind you that these trainings are available on the Clean Water Academy. If you need Clean Water Academy access, you can contact Chris Grimsley at PACD. His contact information is there. And if he's not able to get it for you, then Jay Braun can get it for you. But Conservation District first contact should be through Chris. I think that's the end of mine. Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kate. I don't see any other questions come up. There's one come up. If a conservation district does not currently have a PK license, they are to contact Andrew Hake, correct?
So if there is nobody that has admin, every district should have a Practice Keeper license. So you have licenses available, but I understand through turnover, we have had this come up that the admin has left. And so therefore, there is the ability to assign a new license has left with that person. So yes, in that case, we would send you ultimately to Andy, but you can contact me first because I didn't put his contact information on this PowerPoint.
It says Forest County does not currently have Practice Keeper.
You don't know who your license, you're not sure who your Practice Keeper admin is. Oh, that's Carbon. Carbon County. It looks like you don't have one. We'll need to work through Andrew Hake again to get you a Practice Keeper admin, so that you can get licenses assigned at your district. And Forest County, same thing. So whether you know it or not, you all have licenses. It's just that we haven't been able to assign them because we don't have an admin. So feel free to touch base with me and we'll connect you with Andy to make sure that you get set up.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kate.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to ask a follow-up question about the question about cover crops on multiple fields. I just want to understand how it works. So say you had a farm and you had 3 fields you're going to put cover crops on. So with a polygon, so you just need like the farm boundary and then you'd put the total amount of acres of cover crops, or you'd need each field boundary with the amount of cover crop in each field?
So what we do for CAP is we there's crop where where anywhere where that cover crop could potentially be, understanding that cover crop is something that gets rotated with the rotation.
Right.
So you would draw the crop acres, and then you would, for the implemented amount, it would be somewhat less than that, because that's probably not going to be all cover crop. I mean, sometimes it would be, but not going to be all cover crop in any one given year. So then that would be, so say that you had a field that was 10 acres, but you're only planning to put 5 acres in. So then your implemented amount would be 5 acres.
Okay.
But
so
you would draw the entire 10 acres because it would be there over the rotation.
Okay, I got you.
Mhm.
Thanks.
All right. So moving on, just the
Eric,
upcame.
hey Eric, real
Yeah.
quick. I just wanted to ask the districts on the call, do you have a preference on how we roll out this quarterly report and financial tracking system, or would you like us to just open it up and let you work through it and report and then deal with issues as they arise, or would you like us to kind of regionally roll it out, or we could do like a district specific training before we open your ability to report? I'm open to suggestions here, whatever you guys think would work best for you. Looks like we have 1 vote for district specific training. Yep, agree. District, okay. 2 for that. 1 vote for open and let them try it. Looks like majority so far is saying district specific training would be helpful. That's what he says, just open. Seems like there's a varying comfort here between this new system. Some districts are comfortable with it, some aren't. So, okay. Like what I mean by district specific is like we could do a one-on-one training with you. Maybe seems like there's a mix. Like we could probably just open it up, and those of you who want a specific sit-down training with you before you start entering, we could do that. So that might be the best way to do it, a mixture. But okay. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your input.
Yeah, we'll work with the regional staff and come up with a game planning and move forward from there.
I had a question I was going to ask towards the end, but it's sort of related to this. Is how hard is it going to be to get all the information together to enter the old data, to get all the contract specifics, the payment specifics, if there were amendments? Is that going to be hard to get all that and enter it, in order as if the system that existed in 2022, or is that going to be easy?
It looks like there's only Eric, 200 contracts statewide that are already in existence. Is that what that number was?
Yeah, 217. Yeah, I wrote that down.
So it shouldn't be an overwhelming a lot for everyone at this point to input the past data.
Just getting the data together. Like, it would be good if I had a district to try with, and then when Eric tries one and Ben or whoever, we'll need the information on each contract and each payment. And so how hard is that going to be to gather up so we can, enter it? I don't know if it's easy or hard. I have no idea. Because to go back to enter stuff in 2022, we'll need the information.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's all in one place already, if you have to gather up from districts or.
Yeah, my guess there's probably not an awful lot in 2022. Most of it will be in 2023, would be my guess. So 2022, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. 2023 might be a little bit different story. It might be a little bit more heavier workload, but I don't think it's going to be too awfully difficult.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 2023 will be more work, but it'll be, at least our plan now, it'll be on the districts. So they'll just have to have their own data. But to do 2022, if we're going to do it for people, we'll have to get their data. Like right now, for me, it would be nice if I had a district with just a few contracts in 2022, and I could myself go through, entering everything in order all the way through, do the quarterly reports, and just, test it. But I don't know how hard it is to get that information.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, Mike, I'll reach out to some districts to see if they might be willing to work with you on that. How about
Okay.
that?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
One question that popped up here. Are you going to open it up so we can go back a few quarters and submit each quarter? Yeah, that'll be the plan. We're going to open it up so you can submit, since the start of the program, districts could have expenses back to, I think it's July 11th of 22 is what we backdated the delegation to. So, yeah, we should be able to open it up for each quarter to submit, and then we can process your replenishment based on that. And Jen from the center, Jen said they're in the process of hiring a GIS point person who will be 100% dedicated to the GIS tool. So very similar to a Ken Cordini for those that you know him, but hopefully not talk as much. Inside joke there, but yeah.
Or as fast.
Yeah, right. Talk as much or as fast. Thanks, Dean. Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and move forward here. We'll try to get this the rest of this presentation done with, and then we can open it up for more questions. So just touching on the upcoming admin training. That's November 16th. We've gotten a lot of good replies for that. We actually had to open it back up. It filled up pretty quick. A lot of interest there, and I'm not exactly sure where we're at with a number of participants right now, but November 16th at Penn State Technology Support Building. There's the address for you. Just a little bit of information on what we're going to cover. The training overview. Of course, we're going to have introductions. We're going to go through the SCC duties, what we're required to do, and what we expect from the conservation districts, your duties, local advisory board roles, the applicant, what their roles are, what they're obligated to do. In the Center for Agriculture Conservation Assistance Training, we'll have some overview on that. And we'll also get into permits and what other requirements is. Just, like I said, it's just a brief overview. Actually, it's not a brief overview. It's a pretty in-depth look. We're looking to spend all day there. So not only are we having this big admin training, we are going to have possibly six other regional trainings. We're working on dates on those, but it might be a little pretty. We're getting into the holiday season here, a lot of vacations and stuff like that. So our schedules are a little rough to get some other trainings in here, but we're looking to have one pretty recently after this first training. But we're working on that. We'll send out those dates. We're hoping to get some of the regional trainings done by the end of this year. But we're hoping to have all of them done by at least the spring of next year is what we're planning on with the regional meetings here, the regional admin trainings. So, Justin, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'd like to increase Eric's timeline a little bit. I want to get them done tomorrow, all of the regionals, but that's not going to happen. So we are really hoping to get all those trainings done by the end of the year. But again, Eric's right. It might be tight. So bear with us. If you have suggestions, let us know. We're going to work through that here shortly to come up with, a general area that's regionally accessible for everyone that can't make the middle. But according to Jen, it looks like there's 75 out of the 80 slots for State College are already filled. So looks like we're covering a huge swath of the state with that one in State College. So that's great to hear. Really appreciate you guys signing up for that training right away and letting us know you want it. So we will work on getting those regional trainings to you as soon as we possibly can. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
Yep. All right, and just to give you a brief update on the PSU Center, SCC and PSU's long-term standalone contract is currently waiting the final approvals. We are awaiting those any day. Hopefully that will come sooner rather than later, but that's not going to stop us from continuing to work. The center staff, PSU's conducted interviews, and 3 candidates have accepted jobs, and at least one of them has started. One part-time as of right now, trying to transition from another position at Penn State, and another one should be on board very, very shortly. So the support of the center is coming along. We're getting staff in-house, and we're looking forward to reaching out to conservation districts, the PSU and the conservation districts and our regional staff. We'll probably be conducting site visits or at least one-on-ones with the conservation districts that we bring everybody into one space so we know. So we're not leaving anybody out, one person not doing anything different than the other person, or trying to do the same thing and not getting anything accomplished. So we're going to try to work together as much as possible. That's our plan, and just wanted to let you guys know where we're at with all that. We're actually going to be start to conduct some more interviews to fill the remaining vacancies of the staff there. I think there's, Jen, don't quote me if I'm wrong. Well, you can quote me if I'm wrong. I think there's 6 staff members, so there's going to be 6 regional staff at Penn State. So
yeah, there'll be
there's
6
filled.
educators total.
Yep. Okay. So 3 are filled and 3 are doing more interviews for. There is an RFP for engineering position. It has been released, and we actually have bids back. We got those back. It closed yesterday or the day before?
Yesterday morning at 10 a.m.
So we got those back. So we'll be going through those bids. The State Conservation Commission in Penn State will sit down and go through those bids, and we'll grade those bids, and hopefully we can hire somebody on that end very shortly as well. So new faculty staff positions advertised in fall interviews. Do you have any update on that, Jen, when those will be interviewed? Or
No, I don't. I think we're still really hoping to bring candidates in before the end of the year, but I wouldn't expect with faculty, it takes a little longer to get people started because they run on the semester calendar, usually for start dates. So at the very earliest, it would be spring semester that person would be starting.
okay. All right. One thing that Jen wanted me to bring up, there is a training opportunity. It's called the Post Fundamentals Cover Crop Webinar Series that runs from September 12th through November 8th. So that'll increase your understanding for cover crops with 8-part series. Learn about cover crop selection, nutrient management, and benefits of the cover crops and more. You can register for that webinar at that link right there. Again, this meeting will be saved. It is recorded, and we will post that so you have access to that. If you would like that link, reach out to us and we can get you that link quicker if you want. Jen, is there anything else that you have for the Penn State Center that you want to update us on?
I'll just point out that the first of the staff members for the center started on Monday this week, and he's here on the call today. Some of you might be familiar with Jake Tomlinson. He's done some work with NRCS in the past and collaborated with a lot of districts on Trout Unlimited projects previously. So I don't know if Jake, you want to say hi real quick and introduce yourself. He'll be starting to meet up with districts in the area around where he's at, operating up in the north central part of the state in Tioga County.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. Looking forward to reconnecting with those of you I haven't seen in a while and meeting everybody that's new.
I think that's it for me, Eric.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jen. And we are open for questions. If you got any questions, please bring them forward. You can raise your hand, unmute if you want to talk. If you want to type it in the chat box, go ahead and do that. Many of you have been doing that already. Our last slide here is all the contact information for the SEC staff, the ACAP and CEG staff throughout the county. These are myself and our regional coordinator. So if you have any questions, reach out to them. If you want a site visit or projects you want to look at, please reach out to them and we can set something up. All right, open for any questions.
Eric, I'll take the question about the fees for the training. We've said this before, and I'll reiterate it. If for some reason the cost of a training is a barrier to participation, please do reach out to us and let us know. But you can use your administrative allocation from your ACAP funding to cover the costs of any training that's related to the work you're doing for ACAP. So you do have that money available to pay for those. We have these open to the public, so the fee stands, but we don't ever want that to be a barrier. So do let me know.
Yep. Jen, to add to that, districts, you can use your technical assistance funds as well to pay for trainings. As the center gets moving, the center trainings will be free. The trainings put on by Penn State Extension are separate, right? So there's kind of a mix right now that we're working through that.
Right.
But we hope to keep the center specific trainings will definitely be free to districts, but there's still some combination there between Penn State Extension and the center that there could be confusion as to who's putting it on and why there's a cost. But yeah, feel free to use your technical assistance money, your admin money to pay for trainings that you feel you need. So thanks. Ryan asks, how do we report expenses that aren't tied to an agreement? All right. What can you elaborate? What expenses are you talking about? Like project specific expenses that aren't tied to an agreement? So if it's not tied to an agreement, it's either administrative or technical assistance. And those are reported in your quarterly report, just like a Dirt and Gravel Road quarterly report will be in that financial system. You report admin and technical assistance expenses there. Is there any word on the state job approval authority system? Yeah, there's lots of words. We're still working through that. It's part of the center's job, that their engineer that they're contracting with, that's going to be run through that system. As we said earlier, that RFP just closed, so we're still working through that with legal and with engineers to make sure that everything's up and up there. But we're getting there. It's going to take a lot of time, so bear with us, but it's definitely something we want to do. Great questions. Thank you. Any other questions?
All right. If there's no more questions, I'll give you guys back 2 minutes. This was supposed to close at 10 o'clock and we're 2 minutes ahead. So I got another call to get on to. I appreciate the hard work and dedication from all of our partners, NRCS, DEP, PACD, but especially the conservation districts. If we didn't have the conservation districts, this program would definitely flop because there's not enough of us at the commission to run this program. So I appreciate all the hard work and dedication at the conservation districts. All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Great job, Eric.